It's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the President of the Republic collects his voters' card. For the international scene, Champions League, Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, collected this Wednesday his voter's card in the district of Djibouti. The head of state willingly made this trip to encourage our compatriots to do the same and to be in phase within the framework of the presidential elections of April 9, 2021. With their civic duty to vote, there is also no doubt that through his willingness to personally collect his voter's card, President Guelleh shows his commitment and determination to further anchor the democratic practice in our country. As a candidate for his succession, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh had 10 days ago submitted through his campaign manager his application to the competent national authorities, the Ministry of Interior. Also, he wanted to retire at the end of his current term. The President of the Republic decided to run for the supreme offices one last time in the valse of major popular demonstrations demanding that he continue to lead our countries, in addition to the ongoing president who will represent the union for the presidential majority, Mr. Zakaria Ismail Farah, an independent candidate. He is also in the running for the Djiboutian presidential elections of April 2021. With the approach of the presidential election scheduled for April 9, a consultation meeting was held between the officials of RTD and the National Commissions of Communication, CNC, in the meeting room of RTD, co-chaired by the director of RTD, Mahmoud Suleiman, and the president of the commission, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdo. The exchanges related to the provision to be put in place for the presidential elections of April 2021. The election will oppose UMP candidate and the independent candidate. During the meeting, the discussions were sustained between the leaders of RTD and the member of the National Commission of the Communication have concerned all the aspects of this campaign, going from the respect of the regulation by the two parts, the programming so much has the radio, has the television, in the respect of the equity. The participant underlined the experience and capacity of the RTD to cover the electoral campaign on the whole territory and those in all the languages as usual, and within the framework of the electoral campaign, RTD proposed a vast program, in particular special election news in each language. In a brief intervention, the President of the National Commission of the Communication, Ms. Ulufa Ismail Abdo, returned on the important points as the agenda of the meeting within the meeting room of the RTD. The President of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Farah Abdullahi Waliye, accompanied by members of his team, went yesterday to Ali Sabih and Asamo to see for himself the progress of the withdrawal of voters' card. The head of the CENI and his staff were first received by the prefect of the region, Musa Adan Migane, in the presence of the member of the local CENI. The delegation discussed with the prefect the conditions of the withdrawal of voter cards. The CENI chairman and his team also discussed with their colleagues from the regional commission their essential role in ensuring the transparency of the poll. At the end of the discussions, the chairman of the CENI and his team inspected the various distribution counters of the electoral cards. A ceremony to receive a food donation consisting mainly of rice was held this morning in the large warehouse of Onarsa. This ceremony was attended by the Minister of Interior Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, the Minister of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Chinese Ambassador to Djibouti Mr. Zwicho Ruichang, and the Executive Secretary of ONARS Hussein Hassan Darar, the Executive Secretary of Risk Management and Disaster Mr. Madar, as well as the technical staff of ONARS. The exact value of these donations of 500 tons of rice amount to about 100 million Djibouti francs intended for populations in precarious situations among the Djiboutian disaster victims, and victims will thus replenish the stocks of ONARS, but also will provide immediate relief to the most needy. This highly commendable gesture of the People's Republic of China in favor of our country is a further sign of friendship and cooperation between our two countries. At the end of the ceremony, both parties initialed the documents of reception of this rice donation, which were well received. The Minister of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, said that this is not the first time that China supports the Republic of Djibouti in the fight against poverty, and especially in the context of food security. As part of the project of strengthening teaching and learning through information communication technology, REACTIC, the Minister of National Education Vocational Training, Mustafa Muhammad Mahmoud, and his colleague Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon and Isman Ibrahim Roble, respectively in charge of communication and labor, visit yesterday morning the State High School of Djibouti to inquire about the progress of the activities of the pilot class. During the visit, the Minister of National Education and his colleagues were able to observe the implementation of the pilot test and its use in class by students, and witness the online tests conducted, the collection of results obtained by students, and statistics in real time. Pleasantly surprised by these findings, the officials warmly congratulate the students, teachers, principals, designers, and pedagogical advisors, developers, and inspectors who spared no effort to successfully conduct this pilot work. The Minister of National Education Vocational Training, for his part, emphasized the interest and importance of this project dear to the President of the Republic, who outlined it in 2014 at the time of the launch of the programs One Child, One Tablet. The ministers present welcomed this promising and innovative project and expressed their full commitment and support. The Minister of Health, Muhammad Warsama Diriye, received in his office an important Egyptian delegation led by the assistant to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in charge of African Affairs, Ambassador Sharif Issa. The meeting was held in the presence of the Djiboutian Ambassador to Egypt, Mr. Mohamed Duhour Hirsi, the Egyptian Ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Mohamed Mustafa Orfi, alongside the main executive and staff of the Ministers of Health. The thread of the discussion focused on the main lines of development of bilateral relations in health cooperation between Djibouti and Cairo. The two parties reviewed the future collaboration project, including the construction of a hospital complex with a capacity of 120 beds, as well as strengthening the exchanges of skills through joint training programs essential in the health professions. The Minister of Energy Yunus Ali Gedi received today in the late mornings in his office an important Egyptian delegation chaired by Mr. Cherif Issa, assistant to the Egyptian Minister of Foreign Affairs for African Affairs, accompanied by the Egyptian ambassador residing in Djibouti, Mr. Mohammed Mustafa Arfi, the president of the company East Gas Company, Mr. Hani El Husseini, the Minister of Energy in charge of Natural Resources, Yunus Ali Gedi, recalled on this occasion the series of reforms carried out by the government to improve the attractiveness of the business environment in our country. The city of Obok welcomed this morning's ministerial delegation led by the State Secretariat for in charges of decentralization, Mr. Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, accompanied by the Secretary General of the Minister of Labor, Abdallah Mohamed Ahmed, Abdallah Ali Mohamed, the Inspector General of Labor, Mr. Abdullahi Abdel Fattah, and the Deputy Director, Ms. Khadija Kamil. On arrival, the delegation was welcomed by the Prefect of the region, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohamed Banoita, the President of the Regional Council, the Member of Parliament Kamil Humed. This visit is part of the employment initiative initiated by the President of the Republic, Head of Government, Ismail Omar Guelleh. Recall that following this directive, the Ministry of Labor has established a program called Dynamic for Employment in the Regions. It is therefore in the logical continuations of action undertaken from 8 to 17 March that Mr. Aramis went to Obok. In their word, the authority of the region did not fail to welcome this unprecedented initiative of recruitment of 10 young people and the delivery of tools for others. They addressed their warm thanks to the President of the Republic and the Minister of Labor. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Labor, Mr. Abdallah Ali Mohammed, recalled the government vision and the ministerial strategy for the promotion of employment. For his part, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis stressed that the results of today are the results of the achievement of the policy of decentralization, and that it falls within the framework of capacity building in terms of human resources. In his speech, he welcomed the work of Regional Multisectoral Committee of Approval and made a point of sending his warm congratulations to the winners. At the end of the ceremony, the working tools for the selected activities were handed over to the authorities of the region. After the south of the country, the medical surgical caravan headed north and began its activity in the city of Tajora. Indeed, this caravan has seen the movement of several medical specialists to provide quality care on site for the benefit of the population of the regions of Tajora. The prefect of the region and the president of the regional council made a supervision visit under the guidance of Dr. Dimbio Ibrahim, chief physician of Tajora. This policy of proximity health wanted by the President of the Republic is a relief for the population of the regions who do not always have access to medical specialists. It should be noted that no less than 1,200 people were consulted during the 2 days of the caravan. The population thanked the Ministry of Health for the implementation of the caravan. The Ali Sabih police, in collaboration with the military, undertook a large-scale operations to put an end to these kinds of illicit activities. The police deployed in the corridors in order to dismantle smuggling networks. This operation resulted in the seizure of 55 parcels of cat. The police, together with customs officers, proceeded to the destruction of these goods. For the international scene, solid and applied, the Madrilenians came to end Tuesday at Atalanta Bergamo in the rounds of the 16 of the Champions League thanks to goals from Benzema, Ramos and Asensio. Real Madrid will see the quarterfinals after two successive failures at his stage, where after its short victory in the first leg, the Madrid clubs eliminated Atalanta Bergamo by winning 3-1 at home. But on Tuesday, 16 March, Karim Benzema and Vinicius played an exemplary game, with the former scoring and the latter winning a penalty. Muriel reduced the score at the end of the game before Asensio finally put an end to Bergamo's hopes after two consecutive eliminations from the Champions League rounds of 16. Real Madrid finally breaks this bad spiral. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.